Welcome to Minute to Skim It here on the Experience / everywhere else we're broadcasting today. We intend this to be super usable for everybody that wants to know what's coming out this week, but in a non-spoilery way. I'm Miss Jen, nerd, and Miss Bean.
Hi.
I guess nerd?
Yes.
Physicist.
Big nerd.
It's like the Big Bang Theory here today.
Isn't it like a almost requirement to work here?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had people that have come and worked here that have not been nerds, and they worked out just fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Lifelong nerd, newish to comics. I've been a very casual comic reader for a long time, so.
But yet, Bean today, strong-armed me out of reading specific books, so it means conversion complete. All right, everybody, we're going to go through the books that are coming out this week at your local comic shop. It's easy to tell them what you want to have added to your pull box. If you don't have a local comic shop yet, you want to figure out what's the closest to you, you can use comicshoplocator.com and the zip code where you currently are, and they will give you the ones closest to you. Do call them beforehand and make sure their hours are current, because a lot of those things have changed. You may be displaced because of hurricanes, or you might be visiting family or any of those things. I always suggest go and visit other comic shops because, you might find another place that has cool things for you. All right, I am going to start with The Search for Who. This one was not what I thought I was getting into, honestly. This is really kind of cool. If you watch Shang-Chi this weekend, you'll recognize a little bit of kind of the theme of this book. It really is this family who appear to be a normal American family who have a family business that they all take turns working in, and they are locking up for the night. I think it's like a grocery store or a restaurant or something similar. And there's a drive-by shooting in which they get both the dad and mom get shot up, and that opens up a whole puzzle box of connections of their family that they escaped when they left their homeland, which now their son decided to go and confront those factions of the family that they left behind before and tell them the way it is now. So this is a Search for Who. Really great. Lots of graphic violence, and for fans of John Wick, Shang-Chi, anything that has mob connections and ties, you'll like this. This one is from Aftershock, and it has a name attached to it that I have not heard before. That's John Sui, and Steve Orlando you will definitely recognize. So don't miss this one. Last week there was a great release from Aftershock that almost completely sold out everywhere, which was Almost American. That one was super awesome, so don't miss this out. Oh, and yeah, the ambassador executive variant is on fire. That would be the variant that would come to the store near you as the ambassador from Aftershock comes and visits them. They drop off a couple super special covers of that book. You can ask if they have it or still have it. It's a really cool cover.
Nice.
Your
turn. Where do I want to start? I didn't actually pick one. I'm not gonna go for my favorite one yet.
Are you gonna do it like when you eat food? Do you eat the stuff you hate on the plate piece, and then work up to your favorite part, mashed potatoes or whatever?
Yeah, I do. I try to moderate. So let's see. But not saying it's my least favorite that I read.
But that's what she means when she picks it up.
No. Now I've got to pick one that I.
Creators, pay attention. She hates you if you picks up your book.
Oh no, the pressure. No, I'm gonna pick out one that no one can accuse me of hating because it's so good. I'm gonna go ahead and go with The Me You Love in the Dark.
She hates Scotty Young.
Number 2. No, I don't. No one can hate Scotty Young. I'm pretty sure it's illegal, actually. So this is awesome. And I have also, because the second printing of number 1 has come out, which I got caught up on. And I was so excited because I was like, oh man, I wasn't here when we did the number 1, when the number 1 came out. And number 2 is awesome. I'm really lucky because second printing number 1 came out today. Everybody else is really lucky too who missed out on the first one. I'll put that back up for right now. But just absolutely gorgeous. Everyone loves Scotty Young. And Scotty Young doing horror ghost story. Oh, it's awesome. I love ghosts personally. I love monsters. So number 1 is awesome. Number 2, you're getting your first glimpse of the ghost. Maybe not a ghost. Who knows what that's creeping around. It is so good, and it's a beautiful book. I will say, because, and I think I've said that last time I was on the show, that I'm a little bit of a slower reader. And I feel like whenever a book has a lot of images and not as many speech bubbles, I feel there's sort of a peacefulness to those books.
Sure.
And these books, they highlight Scotty Young's art. Like the story is told through his art. Like there is dialogue, but he totally builds the atmosphere just in images alone. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful.
I'm really 100% certain that this girl's got something even more wrong with her than has already been revealed, because why would you go and buy a house that you clearly know is haunted?
Yes.
Don't understand. Why?
Yeah. And for those of you who did miss the first one, I guess I should sum up the plot instead of just gushing about how gorgeous it is, which is enough of a reason. But basically the story is about Ro, who is an artist, and she has gone to a small town to try and kind of get her mojo back. She's drained artistically. I think a lot of artists after post-COVID can kind of relate to that and is really kind of in a rut. And the house she moves into, they tell her it's haunted. She says, oh, great. And then she spends the entire first book trying to find the ghost and basically antagonizing it. So you can guess how that works out. But it's not quite how you would expect. But yeah, definitely this one should be on everyone's pull box list.
Yeah, the first issue, first print sold out really, really quickly. So mad props to Image for figuring out how to have the second print come out on the same day as the number 2 so that you can catch up. I always think that that's like, I know it's this hard balance of, ballet of making sure it comes back from the printer and knowing that you need it in time to tell them that. But when they get it right, it's beautiful. Tim Harris, no, peas are the devil.
Oh, no.
Just thought I should say. All right, Tom Lintern, man. I dig Tom so much. Okay, so this is Mullet Cop. This is probably not the cover you're just going to see at your little mix shop. This is actually a variant cover. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, why? Why is there what looks like a microwave on the front cover that has kind of like, the Cylon light coming out of the window? Well, I'll tell you why. This microwave is actually the MITT, or MIT for short. It's the Mall Industries 3000 or 2000, sorry, just like Kit. Yes, and it is even more dorky than that. This is about a character who is a mall cop who finds himself. So this is in the far future when malls are giant, sprawling mega cities in which all of society pretty much lives in there. And there's not, they have gangs that have taken over certain parts of the mall, including, I think the one gang's name is the Pinks, something close to that. They get into a giant gun battle and he gets shot in the face. That's the opening scene of the book. So it's the future of the 1980s. It looks like the 1980s, but it's really 20 something. It's future from us.
Yeah, it's very 80s inspired though. I read that once.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
you give your feedback. So okay, so there's so many. You're gonna get lots of kind of like nostalgia for 80s films. Every single one of them, you'll see where they tried to throw them in there. You'll feel like RoboCop, Miami Vice. Gosh, there's so many. Warriors, there's about everything. So it's fully ridiculous. All the ridiculousnesses, the mitt, this microwave here is key to the storyline, and so is the main character. This is actually a huge, thick book. It took a while to read, and I was glad because I didn't want it to end. If you were a fan also of the kind of book for mood and tone that like Gut Ghost is, or I'm trying to think what else is out there that's kind of like this kind of high fantasy realism, just nostalgia bomb. So I have no idea, Tim. We're just showing what they are. And I don't have a regular cover one to know. They don't have the price on this variant somewhere. I apologize. But yeah, it's a killer book. What did you think, Bean?
I really loved it. And I mean this is a great compliment. The sense of humor from it could be like an Adult Swim animation show. Like that's what I got from it. And it was so good. And just the main character's reaction, that deadpan, like it's great. I mean, the fact that his kind of disguise is just that he has a mullet, like,
it will never if we take your hair back, then he'll recognize you and come after you and kill you. Just the hair. What?
Yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna make a pre-guess. I think Mullet Cop's gonna sell out like in the first week, if not the first day. If not because of just the name or what it represents to all of us kids that went to high school in the 80s. It's just because it's that good of a book.
And mullets have come back.
Mullets have come back.
Is true.
They're totally an outcome of all things pandemic. Is that we've got some crazy new hairstyles that are back, including my son who's gone full Jesus. Actually, he's gone past that straight to Johnny Ringo. But
maybe he could have a mullet next. Just shave the top, leave the back long.
Yeah, he could.
I could see Max rocking a mullet.
That's my son, by the way. You hate the trend. You don't like that trend? Is it because you don't look good in a mullet, Kyle? Just asking. What you want?
All right, let's see. Next, I believe I'll do this 9 Stones by Behemoth. So this, I will say that if you see the variant covers of this, it is a little deceiving about some of the content. The content that is featured on some of the other covers does not feature in the books. Just the
covers are a lie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay. They're just there for artistic expression. And so this book is wild. It starts off, and you think that it's just about a guy who's going to work at a grocery store, but then there's drug dealer, like gang war themes that come in. There's sort of a fantasy element to it. Basically, the main character, and we don't get a lot of direct info. This is definitely one of those where it drops you into this world, and you sort of get done, and you think, "Wait, what? All right, I need number 2. I need number 2, probably number 4 before I even really know what's going on." But it's very action-packed like I said, basically you come in with the main character. He's late for work at a grocery store. Turns out the grocery store is kind of like a front for drug dealing, possibly. And then as it goes on, there is a conflict. And then that's the point where you start kind of wondering, there's clearly something supernatural and kind of super powery, evil lurking going on with the main character, which is cool. There's a lot going on and really cool art style to go with it. So it's really interesting.
Everything from Behemoth so far has been well received. It has been great reads, so I'm excited to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I almost died because our producer Kyle says the reason he couldn't rock a mullet is because he's bald in the front and bald in the back. No. But he can rock a mean ball cap. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Steve Austin's look is never out. That's true. That's so true. All right, we did the ones at the bottom. Let's do this one. Army of Darkness, 1979. There's some time travel that happens in this one, as you would expect. I got to talk to the writer of this book, Bradley Barnes, who you would know from his work on Boondocks, on the Marvel's Runaways, so much stuff. Oh my gosh. Currently working on Philadelphia, the production of that and the writing. He's written a nice bit of the Falcon storyline. So yeah, he's the famous dudes. If you wanted to watch that really wonderful interview, it is on the Experience from yesterday's on the Talking Shop. Is that the NASA bean?
Yes, it is. I don't have one of my mini NASA shirts on today.
Oh,
I have my flannel. It gives me +3 charisma, so I wore this today.
Well, you're the best.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I can't remember the setup is for this. I remember what happens once he shows up. This one's really fun. If you have never read any Dynamite, but you like the Army of Darkness movies, this is a fun place to jump on. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so this starts out in the South Bronx in 1979, in which there are warring factions, one of which has managed to get their hands on the book. You're used to the book that Ash is always trying to hunt down, that gives them the power of the undead. And someone has to come forward in time and grab him to come and help out, because that's not good. That's really bad. So if you want to see Ash be super groovy, you should totally grab it up. It's there's a bunch of really cool covers too. If you like choices in art for what you're gonna buy, that's the one.
So for the time travel element of that, it says 1979. Is he in modern times and going back? Is he from 1979 and going forward?
I think you think he's modern time. They grab him and take him back.
Ah, okay.
At least that's what I thought. I don't think that he was. Anyway, I don't know when the normal Army of Darkness universe is. It appears to be long ago, but it could be far ahead. Who knows?
Jenna would know.
Jenna would know.
Jenna would absolutely know. That's one of her favorite things.
Yeah.
They almost didn't recognize you and all that charisma. Get these people a DVD box set. Stat! That's right. They need a shot in the arm. The other one. Only people that watch it know what I'm talking about. Go.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I believe next one I'm going to do is Deadbox, which I love the cover. And I didn't even register that this was a red box, like the little DVD rental places.
Yeah.
And I actually had a coworker was like, oh, like, aren't they a little late on the red box trend, you know? Because and of course I'm from a very rural area. People still use red box there. I don't think it's out of trend there, but that's sort of part of it, is that not a lot of people use Redbox now that we have Netflix, we have so many streaming services in our own home. But this book is not, it looks kind of horror-y, haunted red box, thing going on. This book is wild. So this is not just one story. It's basically 3 stories in one, all interwoven. There's a lot of depth to this. And it's actually really, really sad. Like, it's not so sad that you need tissues, but it is definitely very real. A lot of talk about death and like, what are you doing with your life? So I would say sort of the main story that draws everything together is this girl who is working at a convenience store. And, in small towns, convenience stores are the grocery store, the gas station. Everything happens at the little convenience store. She's working there. She's taking care of her father. She was in college and dropped out to come home and take care of her father, who is ill. And it's not really discussed exactly why he's sick. That comes into the plot later, and is hinted that it will be a big part of the plot later. But so basically, she's working in this small town in this convenience store, and the first part of it's just her interacting with characters and like different people that are coming in. But then something's a little off, and there's this sort of narration that runs through it. And it's sort of telling its own story and its own take on things.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure where that narration comes from. It doesn't come from her. It doesn't seem to come from any of the other characters. And then the red box, the sort of haunted red box, is in the store. It's in the convenience store. And they say, it's so weird. It's full of movies, but no one's ever heard of any of them. And they can't find them on the internet when they look them up. They seem to not even exist anywhere.
I've got a story for you about that.
And
so there was this movie that came out called Death Racer. It was a Jason Statham film, I think.
Yeah.
That I really wanted to watch, and I sent my husband to go get the movie. I went with him, I think. Mm-hmm. And we found this movie called Death Racers, and we didn't even pay attention. We rented it, and it was a totally different movie. They just had an S to the end. Yeah. And the cover looked exactly like what you would expect to have been the thing. It totally got us.
Yeah.
It's probably those movies.
Yeah.
Death Racers will be in it for sure.
Yeah. And it might just be haunted by Jason Statham knockoff movies. I'm not sure. I mean, that's the mystery. Maybe that's it. It's just all knockoff action movies. But actually, the last part of this is that she gets one of the movies out, she starts watching it, and the last part of the story is the story told, the very sad, strange story of these 2 alien races that's told in the DVD. And like I said, it's all woven together. It kind of reminds me of Watchmen, where there's a story of the pirates. That it gives me those vibes of where it's sort of a story that's adjacent, but very sad. And it's hinted that possibly as you watch the movie from this like haunted red box, maybe it starts influencing your life. So
no.
This is a really good one. Like I said, this is a deep one. So pick it up and get ready to be transported.
There you go. And that is a Vault comic, if you're wondering. By the way, there's some great documentaries out there, I believe, on Netflix. There's The Last Blockbuster is a really good one to watch, and it'll kind of be an idea of how Blockbuster had their chance to work with Netflix, but didn't understand what they were being offered. And I probably wouldn't have understood either back then. And they passed on it and to their demise. We would often switch out Jack from. Oh no! Evil. All right. Now this one might be tough to track down at your local comic shop because I know that it's had our release date are different than most everyone's release dates for these. So we get all of our Source Point at one time instead of on a regular release date, because we get them all straight from Source Point because we make sure that they don't have any damages, and we just like buying from them directly. So this one is Warcorn's Birthday Bash. So this is the whole team getting called out to what they think is like this horrible sound that they can't figure out what it is, and it's driving them crazy. And they find out it's a kid's party. That's the noise that's annoying to them. By the way, they're combat unicorns, just so that you understand. So, so they go and kind of like crash this kid's birthday party, but everything is not as it seems. And it's awesome. Most of the jokes that are part of this are very unicorn related. It's the way that the characters act and who they are. You don't really need to know anything about them except for that, they're military unicorns. That just imagine the A-Team, where the A-Team has their own personalities. That's the way that this is, and you will love it. Not for kids, so don't. I know it's got pink and cute colors, and they look like cartoon characters. But you can see on the front here that the kids at the party are scurry, super scurry. But yeah, Warcorns has got the way you catch up with Warcorns is that there's a one shot that started everything, which is the first appearance of all of the corns themselves. And then there's a 1, 2, 3, and 4 that came out from Source Point Press recently, and then this Birthday Bash, and that's what's out so far. The writer on Deadbox. Did someone put it up there already?
Yes.
Russell. Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Is there you said it's like the A-Team. Is there a Mr. T
There's
unicorn?
definitely a main character. He doesn't have like the mohawk or the chains, but he does eat crayons. That is a military thing. Like one of the branches, they call them crayon eaters. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's see. So I think I'm gonna do. Are you okay if I do 2 in a row?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Especially if I'm behind.
I don't think you are, but I just have a reason for it. So,
are they connected?
all right, loosely, very loosely.
You don't want to. There is solely someone sitting right next to me. This is Bean. She's amazing at reading reviews, Ryan.
I try. I just get excited sometimes, and I forget to tell people what the comic's actually about. I'm just like, buy it.
Oh,
it's
half the time I
great.
just tell them what the whole book's about, and I forget to tell them what the name of it is.
Oh, this one is called The Last Flight Out. And you can see from the front of it, you've got the little girl standing on some sort of kind of futuristic looking spaceship. So picking this one up, I looked at it and I thought, because I read a lot of sci-fi, I watch a lot of sci-fi. I thought, okay, this is probably going to be apocalyptic sort of, humanity leaving Earth, which is true. And I wondered, because a lot of those like dystopian, you can either have like sort of the emotional ones or the more action ones. And this is probably the most action-packed of the dystopian humanity leaving Earth style that I have read. I kind of was expecting, like, especially because they have the little girl in the front, I thought maybe it would be a more emotional themed book. This thing has a countdown. So it starts off with a scientist and kind of goes through a little bit of backstory on his life and his relationship with his daughter, which there is father-daughter relationship. It's strained. He's a scientist, and he's actually the one who, as the Earth's climate situation gets worse, he has developed an arc ship, 3 arc ships that are taking people off. And basically, people are going to go live in space until the Earth and the climate can be remediated. And so we catch up with him in 2055, and he is preparing for the final launch of the 3rd arc ship that is going to take off and go into space, and it is basically the last life raft for humanity. 2 of them have already left. They said basically 2/3 of humanity has already left. They've made it big enough for every person to get on. Some people are choosing not to, which, you can imagine in society, there would be a good portion that would not want to leave, would not want to go live in space the rest of their life. And the scientist is going, and he has never had a very good relationship with his daughter, and he realizes his daughter isn't on the ship.
Oh, no.
And there are 24 hours left to launch. And they have to launch.
Stress.
It's explained, and literally it is a countdown, like starting where he's like, I am going, and it's like she's like halfway around the world. And it's incredible. It is very dystopian as well. They say that basically the entire world is under martial law, and he's going to try to go get his daughter. So, like I said, this thing is action-packed. It's awesome, and I'm really excited for number 2. But yeah, it is a fast read because you're just frantically like, oh, we got to get going, man. We got a time limit. Let's go. And it's awesome.
Like when you're in a movie and you find yourself like all your muscles in your neck are sore from you like tensing up, or that your calves hurt because you've been sitting forward in your chair.
Yes, exactly. It's so good. And so this one was set in 2055, and then I was reading, and this one, I realized, Not All Robots, is set in 2056, just a year later.
There you go. Maybe they...
I don't think...
Dark Horse and AWA, so I don't know.
Also very dystopian, and I did want to do this one. This one is number 2 of the series. I'm not sure if number 1 is getting a second printing. I tried to look it up. It doesn't look like they've released anything. But I have read number 1, and I do think that this is a series you could jump in at number 2. I mean, obviously, it's nice to have read number 1, to own number 1, but this one is so good. And especially if you're just coming for the story, it's absolutely worth jumping in at number 2. So basically, the premise of Not All Robots is it's the future. It's 2056. You know, in this one, humans have all left. In this one, humans have been completely replaced by robots. I mean, totally. They don't, you know, they're and even robots are basically taking care of them. Every human household has a robot that is kind of the breadwinner. The robot takes care of the humans. They don't really have anything left to do except for hairdressers. Hairdressers are the only people still employed gainfully in the human race.
Oh, hairdressers.
Hairdressers, yes, because they said they tried to do that with robots and it just did not work out. There were some deaths. So also the book has very dark humor, but the first one is basically just setting that all up. Obviously people are not very happy. Robots are not very happy. And there are some people and some robots that are more unhappy than others. Some like the way things are. Some are starting to want to change it. And that's really the plot kind of starts with this one, where you start seeing specific characters that are stepping out and saying, we're going to do something, and kind of like, here's what we're thinking about doing. And it's about to get rough in this book. So like I said, the first one is awesome, but yeah, definitely if you're just wanting to jump in, go grab this number 2 because it's really, really good.
I think you should be able to find number 1. I did not hear about a sellout for number 1, so
yeah, we have a couple. I checked in the front, so yeah, hopefully.
Ryan, I agree. Your hair has to stay on point. It is a very important thing, although I'd let mine go straight to frizz. But yes, and we'd love it if you guys would hit that like and a little heart button. Makes it, I don't know what it is, but I don't know if you guys know what the love languages are, but mine's hearts and thumbs ups. I don't know what happened there, but it's true.
I didn't know that was an option in the book.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I think that's positive affirmation.
I think mine's food. I think that's it.
Does everybody know what we're talking about? There's a whole book that talks about what your love languages are. You have a love language that you give, that you're good at giving, and one that you like to receive. So it's different. Yep, that's Bean.
Do you have 2 that are tangentially far apart related?
I mean, I could work real hard to find a connection, I guess. I'm going to do 2, so I can try to not make it so that we have to sit and listen to me talk forever afterwards. Your love language is being left alone. Excellent. Peace is what. Does anyone else have cool ones? I think my love language is. I don't know what my love language is. It's so bad. My husband hits all of those, so it's all good. Last book you'll ever read. This is number 2. This is a great book out of Vault, but it's written by Cullen Bunn. This is all about this main character here who has written a book that seems to suggest that everyone should just do whatever they want, because that's the way things are going to work out. That's what everyone should embrace as a way to go about things. And there's the end of the first book. It becomes clear that not everybody else who might be someone who would read the book is liking that idea. Because it's kind of telling everyone to embrace the chaos or just do whatever they want. And that doesn't really work out for an organized society. But in this one, it actually has her going to bookstores and doing signings. And there are a great many people outside the bookstore that are, doing a picket line and telling her that's not good. But inside the store, just so you understand how adult this book is, inside the store, after she does a reading from the book, because that's what she's there to do. And two of the people that are part of the viewing of it decide that what it means to them is that they're going to go off into the aisles and do each other. So crazy. And she seems very happy with that. And what's weird about it, I still haven't figured out quite yet, is that when people are doing what's suggested in the book, their eyes kind of turn red. So I don't know what's going on. Horror is your love language. Love it. But this is book number 2. You should be able to find book number 1. There's a bunch of really cool versions of this, including polybag versions, which I'm sure have the full nudity on the front cover. But this one is a creepy, I'm pretty sure it's going to get creepier as it goes along because Cullen writes that way. And every single book I've read of his recently, I've been besmitten with because it's so good. I just realized it doesn't matter what company is doing it for. I just need to just put Cullen Bunn on my list. So I'm really care about. Suicide Jockeys from Source Point Press is also an awesome book, especially if you like books that don't give you everything at once and kind of jump around in a storyline so that you have to kind of unpack it like a good puzzle. So this one really is about these group of, I don't want to call them friends, I'll call them co-workers. They all are part of a crew that's been assigned to take out this giant mech. They fly these kind of ships. Oh, you can see this ship up here. And you find out through going back and forth in the storyline that now none of them really like each other or get along. They all do different things for a living. But that during this event, something happened which created a time-space distortion that they needed to close. And so one of them had to decide to go and close this distortion, which caused the big problem in the first place. So if you like time mess ups and what could have been and what happened and what, how many parallel whatevers are you watching when you're reading all of this stuff? Because I think that's really what's going on. I don't think we're looking at all at one timeline here. It's amazing. I love these kinds of books that make you feel like you got to be smart, read them a couple times so you can get it all. This is Suicide Jockeys. Don't miss it. Source Point Press.
That's awesome.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where are you?
Let's see. That's my fave. I do want to do that one. Let's see. Did you just do 2?
I just did 2, but I've got another 8 to do,
Yeah,
and I think we got the shared one.
I'm gonna grab Mazebook.
All right, talk about
this
Mazebook.
is the one I've been waiting for. Let's give it a little hug, a very gentle hug, not to crumple it. This is Mazebook. I have been waiting for this one to come out. I was so excited about it. Don't know what I didn't even really know the plot of it, which it is definitely it's definitely psychological. It is definitely, it's from Jeff Lemire, and it's beautiful. It's deeply psychological. From this first issue, the main thing we know is it's about a man who's lost his daughter. He's, and the action of the book is just him going through his daily life, but it's really also building this inner world, which you can see on the cover, that there's a maze and his daughter, which is pictured here in the middle. It's at the center of the maze. It's really building an internal world. The external world is just showing him going through and dealing with grief in the way that some people do, where he's just numb. He goes through his daily life. That's it. He doesn't change at all. He's just coasting. But internally, there's this whole world that's starting to come up from her memories, from his memories, and it's hinted that it's going to be like a psychological mystery going forward. But like I said, there's not a lot of plot that I can explain to this book, but it is beautiful and it is awesome. And you will want number 2, 3, however many are going to be in this series, because you will come away from this needing to know answers. Just like you, and the main character is sort of in the same boat. It's sort of one of those where he's looking for answers, and you're right there with him. You're like, okay, let's figure this out. So
Yeah,
this one's awesome.
I feel like the tagline for this one should be a warning against pulling on that thread,
Yeah.
because that you'll understand what that means when you read the book. For fans of things like AD After Death, that gorgeous look of watercolor art that was used in that book. That's the kind of, the every page could be framed art. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Yep, it's a Pandora's box that you don't want to. Well, he'll want to open it because he feels like his daughter needs him, but that's not always. Someone's supposed to be dead. That's probably not what it all is shaping out to be. This one is Conan the Barbarian, number 25. I'm going to do a short review on this one because this one has multiple stories inside by Jim Zub, Larry Hama, Dan Slott, Priest, Corey Smith, Paul Davidson, Marcos Martin, Roberto De La Torre, and more. So you're going to get lots of tales. I like the Larry Hama story myself. But it's Conan being Conan in a bunch of different situations. The first story basically has him and his love, Belit, finding these 3 orbs in a cave. And he looks into the orbs, and out of the 3 orbs come 3 versions of himself. So that's the setup for that story.
3 Conans. That's right.
And they seem to be him at different parts in his life. One when he's older. This one is Star Trek The Mirror War. Most everyone's favorite episode, or one of the favorite episodes in Star Trek, is Mirror Mirror. This one deals with the crew of not the original Star Trek crew, but the Next Generation one. So you get to see the alternate versions of all of them and the way they would behave. They don't look they look like themselves, but their behaviors are not anything like what you're used to seeing Picard act like. We're number 2. There's no tribbles yet that I can see.
I would love to see an evil tribble, though. A mirror universe tribble. That, maybe they have like mad eyebrows, like just like a fuzz with like eyebrows on it that are angry. Yeah.
And look at this is like,
yeah, you can tell they're evil because number 1, in the Star Trek universe, they put beards on them.
Yep.
And Riker's beard. Yeah, Riker's beard is now longer because he already had one to make him evil. They just made it have sort of 2 little guys
braided like a pirate.
And they all have sleeveless uniforms, and they're all just ripped. Like that's even Data. Data is ripped. Like I'm not sure what the logic is there, but I'm there for it. And I was reading about this, what they plan to do with this series. And they're actually going to have like 4 special standalone books that come with the Mirror Wars, each one featuring a different character, which I'm a big Trekkie. I love Star Trek. And in December is going to be Mr. Data. His standalone story is coming out. So I'm excited for that. I don't know if it'll be buff Data or it'll be good Data, but, that's the 2 options.
This one doesn't really take any slack from anybody, which I love. Amazing Spider-Man 73 still has this in the middle of Sinister War, which, man, Kendra's nuts. I don't really understand what's going on, except for they put forth an idea in here that what was it? Maybe I'm not going to be wrong because I bet you I read that somewhere else. They were like saying that that anyone that's ever bungee jumped knows that bungee jumping doesn't break your neck, so why did it kill Gwen Stacy in the movie? But anyway, that's just I'm talking. Oh yeah, this one seems to put the Osborns in different roles than they once had been in. And it has Mephisto in it, just in case you were needing some Mephisto. And then it has a really nice tribute to 9/11 at the end. Because we're upon that time of the year again.
Do you want me to do one?
No, because I got a bunch.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can do. Then you can do one after this one. Okay. Khazar. This is gonna be short because we're running out of time, so can't do the long one. This is Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land by Zach Thompson. I think this is going to be like the relaunch of Darkhawk a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I think this is a whole new origin story for Khazar. It's about Kevin Plunder and his emergence as this character. She is a Google app of information. That's what I'm saying. She's way better at this than I am. All I'm giving you is my feelings about stuff. Amusing anecdotes. That's it. There's Khazar. If you like the Savage Land and you like the character, you'll like this book. I have no idea what their plans are for him going forward in the universe. I always feel like when they bring characters like this up, that you're like, why? That something's going to happen with them, so they want to put them back in the middle.
All right, well, I'm going to grab this one down. So this is Bountiful Garden, which from the front, I mean, you can kind of tell it's sci-fi. It doesn't really give you a lot of other info. But this one is good classic sci-fi awesomeness. This one, so basically you can see on the front, there's a bunch of kids, and basically it starts off with something going wrong on a ship, and all these kids get out of cryo. Basically, they were in cryo sleep. And you learn as they're talking that they are the crew of a spaceship, even though they are very young. It doesn't say specific ages, but they're clearly very, very young. And they have been put into cryo sleep, and they're on a terraforming mission. So they all have incredible skills, especially for being as young as they are. You know, they're incredibly accomplished. And the plan was they're going to get in there, get in cryo sleep, go to what could be a future civilization world for humanity, but they get woken up 10 years early, and something's wrong. And the first part of it is them just kind of dealing with the fact that they've been woken up, and they are kids, and they do act like kids, you know, even though they have these incredible skill sets. They're kids. They're scared.
There's a lot of crying in that first couple pages.
Just that one kid. I mean, you know, bless her heart. It's, you know,
they were
there's
nice.
A lot
no
of
one
tears.
slapped him in the face.
Yes, and you know, and there's always that one character in sci-fi where that's not holding it together well. And when I was younger, I was always like, I know.
That'd be me.
Hannah's raising her hand. Yeah. But you know what? Now I appreciate them as a plot device. It's very important, and also probably very realistic that one person is going to lose it. So, you know, you have to be prepared for that. But they're basically, they look down, you'd see they're over this planet that they think something must have come up from the planet and made our engines stop and made us stop here. So they go down, and we end with them sort of looking around this planet, which is mysterious, weird, and I feel like there's gonna be some monsters. Did you get that vibe? There's some creepy crawlies coming.
I think there's some. I mean, I think there's one already on the ship, but
Yep.
I don't know how it's possible, but I think it might be happening.
Yeah, that one's gonna be very good.
Yeah, so good for people that love good sci-fi. I don't know if anyone watched this movie. They might have missed it because it got. It's one of those movies that came out, I think, in the middle of a very busy movie season and got missed. It had had Chris Pratt, and who's the other person in it?
Was it Jennifer Lawrence? Was the other person?
Yeah.
in it? Yeah. I remember that. I did think of that one with the whole ship. You wake up too early. What's going on?
Yeah.
Scenario.
In this
Yeah, I don't
case,
remember the name of that
For
one.
them, they make the book for Bountiful Garden. It's more about them. I think it's the unknown of what's in the ship or on the planet, but for them, for science, it's mostly about how do you deal with not having the right amount of supplies when you plan to only have people awake for a certain amount of time. That's right. And internet logic doesn't overturn physics. I like it how you guys are all working out all the tensile strength of, spider web and how that would work. That makes me proud of you. Keep going. Okay, Toxin is the part 6 of the Extreme Carnage storyline. It is very toxin-y. They have all of the different symbiotes coming together, and I don't know what the point of them finding each other, but I'm sure they're going to get us to that. Probably in the Alpha and the Omega issue, they'll probably find out the why. You already have one of the characters already changing their name and become silent, which is interesting because their character is not a silent character usually, but they're a lot of fun. I love the symbiotes. They're kind of this. This is not like one of those fun, haha, symbiote ones like they make the movie Venom look like. Mm-hmm. This one seems like they're very dangerous, so they're going to get together and do very dangerous things. So,
all right. I think we just have the
just
one
the Colt.
Left? Yeah.
All right. Did you get to read Colt?
No, I haven't read the first 5, so I thought number 6 might be too far to jump in.
Look around comic book shops near you because Rich Davis is going on a tour across America to talk about his awesome book, Cult of Dracula. There is a second series that's going to come out. It tells what the name is at the very end of this book. I'll tell you so you can actually put it on your pull list so you don't miss it. But Cult of Dracula is a different look at Dracula. This one's a very, very cult-driven, but also if the cult was strong like the mafia would be and have some strength behind the scenes. And Rise of Dracula is the next series that they're going to do. In this one, the Dracula character who is female is actually trying to find someone to imbue her new self in. So like like when you're like, oh, this body's old, I need a new one. So there are characters. They did a really good job. Rich did a really good job in the book of bringing forward characters that you're used to from Bram Stoker's Dracula, like Mina and Jonathan Harkness and who was the guy that hunted? Daggum, the doctor. I'm gonna totally forget it. I can't remember this. Someone's gonna come up with it in 2 seconds. But anyway, they've all been key characters in the book series so far. And Mina is actually the key character in this final chapter of this first series, Cult of Dracula. Don't miss it. It's really dark, though. It's really definitely not for kids. And it does have a lot of nudity and a lot of symbolism that's associated with the dark. Van Helsing, thank you. Gosh, Tricky Trapsters got me. Thank you. So, and this one's got 2 covers that are available with it, so you can hunt them down. There's always this really beautiful A cover, and then by Shannon Mayer, there's a B cover, which is another creature. Kind of looks like it's the same quality of art style like Derek Chu or Art Germ, the kind of like painted quality of like Matina. But you'll know Shannon Mayer when you see Shannon Mayer. There's no mistaking that art for anybody else. So that is all the books that we reviewed. I will tell you there are some other books that are releasing this week. These are brand new releases, right? Sorry. Unknown. Just say you don't know.
I can't see the numbers.
Dragon Ball Super 14?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dragon Ball Super 14 is a new release this week. It's like I didn't know. These are things like I don't know if I would know if they're new. And Boruto number 12, which is an offshoot. Yeah, that's a Legend of Naruto continues. So if you have friends that love Naruto and they feel like they've run out of stuff, this is what I was looking forward to this week. This is Malika. This is what used to be part of a different company, but now is joined with Dark Horse. It used to be called Unique Studios. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous art. I would love to show it to you, but I don't think I'm allowed to show you the interior of this, even though it's been previously printed in another form. But I will tell you what the story is about. It says, follow the exploits of the Queen and military commander Malika, who struggles to keep the peace in her ever-expanding empire. And the name of her empire is Azaz, with an exclamation mark. This historical fantasy is set in 15th century West Africa and created by an all-star team from Nigeria. So they're actually created by people that live there. Growing up as a prodigy, Malika inherits the crown from her father in an incredibly unusual way, splitting the kingdom of Azaz in half. After years of civil war, Malika finally unites all of Azaz, expanding it into one of the largest empires in all of West Africa. But expansion will not come without its costs. Okay, so I've actually been at many Diamond retailer summits in which the creator of these books has shown up every single time. And every single time I felt like I wish that he would be picked up by a bigger company, because it just seemed like a hard struggle for him to get, like in front of enough people to enjoy his work. So now, finally, amazing goodness. Very, very proud. This one is an awesome series called The Weirn Book, Wary of the Silent Woods. This one is a new book out of a company called JY. Don't know why it's called JY. It's just called JY. So this one says, in the night realm, vampires, shifters, Weirns, and other night things passing for humans prowl the streets, but they still have to go to school. Alice and Naya are pretty average students, not losers. But when a shadow starts looming and a classmate gets all weird, they are the first to notice. It gets personal, though, when Naya's little brother, Dash, disappears. It's time to confront the secrets of the Forbidden Mansion in the Silent Woods. So it's by the author of Awkward. If it looks familiar to you. There you go.
Was Awkward that retelling of Persephone and was that that one, or was that another one I'm thinking of?
I don't know. That's a very good question. And just a couple, one more, and then we're going to wrap it up. This is a reminder to get Superhero Girls Ghosting. It is one of the DC graphic novels for kids. So they make them in the classic style and size of the Scholastic books. So, they are definitely aimed at the kiddos crowd. Not that an adult couldn't enjoy them, but you can tell they're aimed at the specific young ones. If you have a hard time getting a young one in your life to read, you can fully fool them with graphic novels. Just telling you. All right, Brady, thank you so much for joining us for Minute to Skim It here on The Experience and all the other places that this is broadcast. We super appreciate you joining us. Do remember to go to your local comic shop. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you will get notifications when we come on and do this every single week so that you know what to get and add to your pull boxes. Thank you so much for joining us. From me and
Bean. Bye.